Hello everybody, my name is Katie, and if you cannot tell by my voice, I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so I decided to make some nice, cozy, warming, feel-good meals. So if you are also feeling under the weather, or even if you're not, put on your favorite hoodie with me and let's go and cook. First things first is breakfast. So you're going to heat up some bacon on medium heat, and then if you have blackberry jam, just use blackberry jam, but I didn't have any, so I made this makeshift blackberry sauce, and it's just mashed up blackberries and sugar. If you do this and the sugar does not dissolve, you can put it in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds and then put it in the fridge while you go ahead and make your coffee. I'm using the brand Chock-full of Nuts. It's quite delicious, actually. We got it on a whim and it's like one of my favorites now, so highly recommend. Toast your bagel to however you like, and then you're going to add on a wedge of brie cheese. It's quite salty, and I think pairs with the sweetness of the blackberries and the smokiness of the bacon quite well. But if there's another cheese you would prefer to use, you can also do that. Add on your blackberries, and these are pretty runny. I really would recommend using a jam if you can. And then you're going to rip up the bacon pieces and put them on the bagel in a way that makes it to where pretty much every single bite is going to have a bite of bagel along with it. Or of bacon along with it. Sorry. Get your favorite mug. This one's my current favorite. It's actually my mom's, but I love the way that it's shaped, and you can make your coffee however you please. This is a very light meal. It's a very light breakfast. I sat and watched Animal Crossing videos, as per usual, so you can too. Just make sure your cat doesn't steal it. Lunch is very simple soup, so first thing you're going to do is slice up about a half or so of a shallot and set that aside so that you can make up all of your other vegetables. You're going to need about 8 or so mushroom caps for this, and you're going to cut them thinly and then slice them vertically as well. I also did not show this, but I used half of a smoked turkey sausage, so that is also something that should be added. And I should have used more asparagus than I did, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Next thing we're going to do is make a roux. So you've got 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of flour, and you're going to just mix that up together until it's like a slightly golden color before you add in all the shallots. You don't want it to be too dark because this is not a dark soup, so you just want it to be nicely toasted. And then you're going to add in your garlic. I don't measure garlic because garlic is kind of a preference thing, so add in however much you want. Then you're going to put in your asparagus and stir around until it's a much brighter green. Add in your sausage and your mushrooms. I was making a gluten-free version of this off to the side, which is why I don't put all of them in there, but ideally use all of the mushrooms that you cut up. Stir that around until the mushrooms are about half done, and then you're going to put in a half a cup of milk and 1 cup of beef broth, or if you prefer, chicken broth. Seasonings are salt, pepper, mustard powder, and Italian seasoning, and then you're just going to stir that very well before you turn the heat up and cover to simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes while you make your sandwich. So the sandwich, you don't have to use the oven if you don't want to. I did, but you're going to use a bagel, put some olive oil on the top of that until it's toasted to the way that you like, add on a piece of Munster cheese to both sides, and then some salami to one. Then you're going to put that back in the oven to let the cheese melt and the salami kind of heat up, basically. And I didn't show this, but I actually blot the salami a little bit when it comes out because it's a little oily, but it's fine. Then you're going to add on your favorite sauce, and I also added on some greens that I forgot to show before you plate it up and you eat it, doing whatever you like. This is my favorite mug at the moment, bowl thing. It's a Betty Boop one, and I think it's adorable. I actually ate this while I was sitting and drawing at the table for like a good hour or so. The soup is very warming because it's not spicy, but it has like a nice, like full flavor to it, and the simplicity of the sandwich goes very well with the two of them. I like it a lot. If you try it, let me know if you like it a lot, because I think it's kind of like my new favorite soup, maybe. Maybe. It needs more asparagus, though, and like slightly smaller cut, because I cut them a little bit too big. So, dinner is probably the most work. You're going to slice a bag of Brussels sprouts in half and wash them and put them in a bowl. You're going to take a handful of asparagus and wash them and put them also in that bowl. And then you're going to slice up 3 pieces of bacon. Preheat your oven and start cooking the bacon. You're also going to need 2 medium-sized sweet yellow onions for this recipe. But you're going to want to make sure that all of the bacon is separated when you're first cooking it until it's about halfway done, and then you're going to start stirring it around and making sure that the rest of it gets cooked really well before you take it out of the pan. You're going to leave the bacon grease, but you are going to want to take out all of the bacon because the bacon goes in with the vegetables later. Here's the onions. You're going to very, very thinly slice these onions. And this is basically what you would do for a French onion soup, but we're not making it into soup. We're making it into like a pie. Once you have all of the onion in, you're going to stir this almost constantly. Even when you're making the other parts of the meal, you have to keep stirring this, because if you don't and you have the heat too high, it will burn and it will be bitter and it will not be good. So make sure that you're constantly moving these onions around. The vegetables are pretty easy. I already seasoned them when I took this because I forgot to show you me seasoning them, but these are what I used: salt, pepper, freshly ground preferably, rosemary, and garlic. And then I'm going to be adding about a tablespoon of mayonnaise, because it's just eggs and oil, about a tablespoon of mayonnaise, and then the rest, all of that bacon, actually not the rest of the bacon, all of the bacon. Stir that really, really well. Make sure everything has a little bit of the mayo on it before you're going to transfer that into a oven safe dish and bake. You're going to bake this for quite a while, if I'm being honest. You want to make sure that the Brussels sprouts are very nicely done and not raw at all, otherwise it's going to taste kind of like strange with the asparagus. But you're going to do that and you're going to cook it for about 30 minutes. So into the onions, I added cardamom, sage, chicken bouillon, salt, and pepper, and that was really it. And then you're going to just stir that around really, really well, keeping it very caramelized. You want them to be pretty mushy, if I'm being honest. And then you're going to add 1/3 cup of white wine instead of red wine, and some Worcestershire sauce. Not a whole lot of Worcestershire sauce. You don't want it to be too salty or too overpowering, but you do need that like umami flavor from it. And you keep stirring. Then I'm putting the onions in a pre-prepared pie crust, and you're going to put that in the middle and fold the pie crust over the onions to where there's a little pocket of just free onion in the middle. And this is going to be a pretty thin pie-ish type thing, so you want to make sure that it stays thin, otherwise it's going to not cook evenly. Preferably you would put breadcrumbs on the bottom to make sure that the bottom of the crust doesn't get soggy at all, but I did not have any. And then you're going to put that in the oven for about 25 minutes because we're going to start the timer for another 5 minutes at the end with putting cheese on top of it. I'm using Munster. You can use whatever you want. And then I put Parmesan on the Brussels sprouts and asparagus. And you're done. I didn't film me eating it because I was with my parents, but I hope that you enjoyed these meals, and if you try them, let me know. Until next time, have a great evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on when you're watching this, and I'll see you later.